Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video I am going to be going over the problem with MTX in RuneScape 3 and how the game is becoming more of a pay-to-win game. And we have seen this in various different ways recently, which I will discuss in this video. Recently, we have seen Yaktrack introducing 25% more XP when you do reach that tier 50. And then most recently, overloads are now introduced into microtransactions. So let's talk about it. Now, Regex, they have released a news post for this. Basically, September is all about skilling, but to do this, they did release 2 new skilling bundles, which you can purchase with bonds. First off, you have the small pack. There isn't really anything wrong with this. However, the large pack, which does cost 3 bonds, does have some problems to it. So first off, you are given all of your pulse cores, cinder cores, protein packs, everything you need to level up a bunch of skills extremely fast. But the thing that is quite concerning is the 5 overloads. This is the first time overloads have ever been introduced into the game through microtransactions. Before, you had to have 96 Herblore to make it, which was boostable, but now you simply can purchase 5 overloads for 3 bonds, and this allows brand new accounts to have access to overloads. So this could be a slippery slope leading to more problematic things. Of course, 5 overloads isn't really a big deal, but just the fact that they have began to introduce that may mean that it could get much worse in the future. And of course, the pay-to-win aspect in RuneScape has gotten much larger. The current impact this has had on the player base has been quite negative so far. Just hopping on Reddit, you can see that there is a ton of negative feedback as to the addition of overloads in microtransactions. A lot of players are explaining that the main concern here is that it is going to be a slippery slope and there could be a lot worse things to come, possibly even a bulk purchase of overloads, which would be devastating to the game. So just the fact that we have reached a new level in the pay-to-win aspect of the game is quite significant to a lot of players. So the introduction of these overloads, basically it isn't a huge factor into the game as of right now, but it does impact the game nonetheless. You no longer need 96 Herblore in order to obtain an overload. You can obtain it from this skilling pack. It was mentioned that you can only purchase this pack once, so that does limit it to an extent. However, still, you can purchase these and have some overloads on a lower level account, and this could possibly be used to find some sort of way to break some records, possibly kill some bosses at lower levels than thought possible. So that is something that should be considered when they did add this into the game. The other thing is that this could be a sign of more MTX type promotions, more overloads going into the game, which would be really bad for the game. Right now we have 5, maybe next time there's 50 overloads that you can get, or 100, and that would really hurt the game as a whole. And just the incremental increase of the pay-to-win aspect is something that does concern the player base as a whole, including myself. The other thing that really does concern me is the incremental increase in microtransactions and how they're just adding more and more pay-to-win aspects into the game. Most recently, before this overload thing, was the Yaktrack. You can see that they did add a lot of XP boosts into the Yaktrack, and the final Yaktrack level at level 50 actually does give you a plus 16% XP boost for the duration of the whole Yaktrack, which is about 40 days. And totaling all of the XP boosts that you do get from this Yaktrack gives you plus 25% XP. So that is a massive increase and quite a substantial XP boost for pay-to-win players. And the main reason why this can be considered pay-to-win is because you can skip all the way to level 50 just by buying these skip tokens, which you can buy with bonds. So that is another thing that has been indicating that we are going to be getting some more pay-to-win aspects into the game. Previously, we have seen things like the Elder Overload Golems. This is something a lot of players do enjoy, but it does give every player access to overloads as well, including players who don't have the level to make them. Another thing that we have seen in previous years is the increase in XP lamps. We've seen smoldering lamps, cinder cores, just a bunch of different XP lamps that have been granting more and more XP. And we even had tier 80 gear make an appearance into the Treasure Hunter a few years ago. So we have definitely seen an increase in MTX recently, and it is a bit concerning to the game. It sort of makes it seem like the game is going to become a little bit more pay to win over time. And on one hand, this is sort of normal, seeing sort of an inflation type thing with XP. Sort of does make sense. Just the XP methods, they consistently need to be better as more content comes into the game. So it should always be easier to obtain XP. But in terms of just adding things like overloads into the game, that is something that a lot of players aren't pleased with because no one really likes pay to win in a video game. The other concern that players are having is that Jagex is too focused on implementing new promotions for microtransactions instead of adding quality content into the game. The big concern is the release of the Arch-Glacier boss. There was a bit of a bug for that boss when it was released, and you couldn't even get one of its unique drops for a day or so. So having that sort of content ready to go and no bugs on release is something that they should be focusing more on rather than adding these promotions into the game. And it does sort of make sense why they are adding these MTX promotions. Of course, the game is making most of their money from MTX, so they are going to continue to add this to the game and maintain it, but it would be nice to see a little bit more focus on the actual content updates they are releasing, because as this post states, if your game isn't healthy, it will stop making you money. So basically MTX, it's just making you money now, but it is hurting the game as a whole and just making your player base sort of resent you a little bit for it. All in all, hopefully Jagex doesn't push MTX into the game too much. You don't want players to become too frustrated with it, but the introduction of overloads in MTX obviously is a negative thing, and a lot of players are upset about it already. Hopefully the game does have a bright future to it. Of course, Elder God Wars Dungeon has been a huge hit so far, and we still have 2 bosses at least yet to go. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more RuneScape 3 content. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.